Mobile workstations belong to a separate breed of notebook PCs. They're laser-focused on professionals who need to run demanding applications like AutoCAD and Adobe Premiere without a hint of instability. With mobile workstations, you're paying more for carefully selected components, certified, rock-solid drivers, and good performance than you are for great looks or a svelte chassis. Sometimes, though, a machine comes along that seeks to pack the components of a workstation-class machine into something that's more akin to a typical ultrabook. The Dell Precision 5520 is just such a machine, and in fact it looks and feels a lot like Dell's XPS 15 productivity notebook. The Precision 5520 has the same materials and design as the XPS 15, and if you didn't know better, you might have a hard time telling them apart. Dell's mobile workstation uses an Intel Xeon mobile CPU and a professional NVIDIA Quadro GPU, however, making it as different internally as it is similar externally. So, did Dell manage to produce a mobile workstation in an ultrabook's body? And, just as important, is the Precision 5520 worth its $3,700 list price as reviewed, albeit currently discounted to around $2,640? Those are the questions we set out to answer. A proven and worthy design. As mentioned above, the Dell Precision 5520 is almost a carbon copy of its XPS 15 sibling. No pun intended, we should add, given that carbon fiber is an important component of the Precision 5520's construction. The space-age material covers the keyboard deck and provides some structural rigidity to the aluminum bottom and display cover, while also adding a luxurious feel that's more inviting than the usual cold metal. The Precision 5520 also uses Dell's Infinity Edge display with extremely thin bezels, making for a smaller chassis than you might expect for such a powerful machine. At 14.05 inches wide x 9.26 inches deep, and at 0.44 inches thick, the machine stresses the mobile and mobile workstation, in spite of packing in a larger 15.6-inch display. In the end, Dell chose a proven design that's not going to turn any heads, but isn't going to embarrass its user either. It's a robust build that's solid as a rock, and while it's not designed to meet military specifications, the typical professional shouldn't feel too nervous carrying the Precision 5520 from the office to the worksite and back again. Well connected to the past and the future. Although the Precision 5520 is svelte for a mobile workstation, it's not the thinnest machine by any stretch. That means there's plenty of space for ports, and Dell takes moderately good advantage of it. In terms of providing support for legacy devices, there are two USB 3.0 ports and an HDMI connection. An SD card reader is a welcome addition for anyone who needs to transfer files from a camera or other device. The Precision 5520 can run some recent games at reasonable settings. Forward-looking support is provided by the single USB Type-C port with Thunderbolt 3, and while that's nice to see, we would have liked it if Dell added in another. Unfortunately, Dell hasn't utilized USB Type-C's charging capabilities, opting instead for a dedicated power adapter port. Wireless connectivity is provided by Intel's excellent 8265 wireless card. That means dual-band 802.11 AC Wi-Fi support and Bluetooth 4.2 connectivity are on tap. In our informal testing, Wi-Fi connectivity was fast and reliable, holding onto a steady 867 megabits per second connection. Better at swiping than at typing. Two other components that the Precision 5520 shares with the XPS 15 are its keyboard and touchpad. As with the XPS 15, both are good, but not great. The keyboard has slightly shallow key travel at 1.3 mm. That's a bit under the sweet spot of 1.5 mm, and it's apparent with every keystroke. The keys bottom out a bit uncomfortably despite a crisp action, with sufficient force to avoid feeling mushy. If you're a touch typist, then you'll get up to speed quickly enough from the Precision 5520 keyboard, but you'll likely never find yourself in love with the experience. You will benefit, however, from the backlit keyboard that offers two levels of brightness. The touchpad is quite a bit better than the keyboard. It's smaller than the massive touchpads on some newer machines, but it's large enough to make navigating the large display efficient and fast. It's also very accurate, the buttons are clicky without being too loud, and it supports the Microsoft's Precision Touchpad protocol. The usual Windows 10 gestures work flawlessly. Unfortunately, the use of Dell's Infinity Edge thin bezel display means that the Precision 5520's webcam is also positioned below the screen and points up at awkward angles. You'll want to make sure you're perfectly groomed everywhere before firing up a video conference. A display that's good, but not good enough. Our review unit came with the full HD 1920x1080 resolution 15.6-inch IPS non-touch panel, and we found it generally serviceable. If there's one thing about the Precision 5520 that didn't meet our expectations, however, it would be the display, despite the premium panel guarantee that Dell issues for its Precision line. In terms of objective measures, the Precision 5520's color gamut support is good at 75% coverage of Adobe RGB and 98% coverage of sRGB. We expected stronger color support from the workstation class machine. Lenovo's ThinkPad P50 mobile workstation, for example, provides 96% of the Adobe RGB gamut and 100% of sRGB in the 4K display we tested. The 4K display on Dell's XPS 15 excelled with 98% coverage of Adobe RGB and 100% of sRGB. Digging into the specifications a bit, we find that Dell's premium panel guarantee only promises 72% color gamut support with the full HD display. If you want 100% guaranteed Adobe RGB coverage, then you'll need to opt for the 4K upgrade. The Samsung SM961 SSD in the Precision 5520 simply blew the competition away. In addition, gamma came in at 2.1, which is a little lower than the perfect 2.2, and so indicates that the screen will be a bit lighter than it should be. Brightness was strong at 325 nits, and contrast was also very good with a ratio of 950:1 at 100% brightness. Color accuracy was close to the perfect score of 1.0, coming in at 1.11. Those results are much more competitive with the comparison systems than was color support. Subjectively, the Precision 5520's anti-glare matte display was plenty bright in all tested environments, and should even work outside in a pinch. Colors were strong without being oversaturated, but professionals will probably note the limited color gamut. In terms of using this decidedly professional machine for more leisurely pursuits, the display was just fine for watching HD movies and TV on Netflix. As usual with full HD 15.6-inch displays, text was sharp enough at a distance, but pixel peepers will notice some graininess. You'll want to pull out your headphones. The Precision 5520 has two downward-firing speakers at the front of the machine, and they put out sufficient sound to know what's going on with the system. Music is nothing to write home about, being a bit boxy and lacking both depth and any character in the high notes. You'll want to connect an external speaker if you want to share a movie with a friend, or use headphones if you want to listen to some tunes while you're working. Fast enough for most professional work, and then some. Our review unit came with an Intel Xeon E3-1505 MV6 quad-core processor, running at 3.00 GHz with 4 GHz turbo boost. In addition, our machine was stocked with 32 GB of DDR4-2400 MHz RAM. Those components provided some serious performance. Using the Geekbench 4 benchmark, the Precision scored a solid 4520 in the single-core test, and an even stronger 14801 in the multi-core test. That makes it significantly faster than the quad-core 7th generation Intel Core i7-7600HQ running on the Asus ROG Strix GL553V, which is a fast gaming machine. As expected, the Precision 5520 blew away dual-core Intel Core i7 processors. The Precision 5520 also tore through our handbrake test, which converts a 420 MB video file in 476 seconds. This result dominates our dual-core Core i7 comparison machine, competes strongly against both the Asus with its Core i7-7600HQ, and bests the ThinkPad P50 with its own Xeon E3-1505M CPU. Clearly, the Precision 5520 is revered as a serious performance machine and should handle most computing tasks thrown at it. The Xeon E3-1500